Welcome to this tour of my early literacy vision, a vision developed for the K3, K4 classroom. One key component of this vision, the display of this vision, is that there will be many links to resources because I feel that these resources will help to continue to fuel the ideas that I can use in the classroom. So I'm not going to read this for you as you can explore it by yourself. I just want to kind of show you how it's been organized and add a few key thoughts. So on this first homepage, I start out with the people who are most important to my vision, and that is the teachers, the students, and their families. And in relationship to me as the teacher, one of the key ideas and thoughts I've had recently is that my oral communication with my students is intentional, and that it is intentional in three ways. One, that it builds rapport with my students. Two, that it builds their vocabulary. And three, that it helps to build their knowledge. And these will all help in their continued literacy development. And one of the resources that I think is really helpful for the vocabulary building is this idea of using sophisticated words with them. It comes from our textbook for this course, and I really think it's an important idea not to just use these common familiar words, but take opportunities to use specific words that will help to develop their vocabulary. And as you can see, there are articles and videos and resources that relate to the concepts of this vision. The next part is the circle time. For me, the circle time is not just a place where we read a story together or learn a lesson together, but it's a place for conversations that are going to fuel our learning throughout the day. And so an important aspect to remember is that anything that is introduced in this circle time is something we want to continue to return to throughout the day. And also that a circle time isn't something that necessarily will only happen once a day at a set time. But a circle time is this time where we come together and we are engaged in learning together, and then that is going to fuel our continued learning. And so I discussed the reading time and the oral sharing time that we have together, opportunities to build knowledge. The opportunity to introduce technology. Once again, we introduce it in circle time, but then we are using this technology throughout the day. And a key idea about technology is I feel not to be intimidated by it and not to feel like all the technology has to happen at once, but that we know our students, we know ourselves, and in a balanced way, we add this technology and integrate it into our classroom and our schedule. The importance of phonological awareness, many lessons that can be taught in circle time, but also that can extend through the day when we are lined up waiting to go outside or these other sort of in-between down times. Also, this idea of no more letter of the week and starting to learn letters in context rather than in isolation. I've explained here that this is new to me. I don't necessarily fully wrap my mind around what it would look like yet. So I have once again put some articles, links to some books, and videos that will better help me to better develop in this area. Okay, next place in my classroom is my library, our library. So when I envision my classroom library, I envision it not simply as sort of the sterile, sort of maybe university library or even public library, but I want it to be a place that is really a community area where we love books together and we share our love of those books together. So I start off by talking about the importance of what books are in our library, what books are included, and what other text is included in our library. And the inclusion of a multimedia area in the library for digital and audio books, for certain language development apps. There's Khan Academy Kids, love that one. And then making sure that the languages and cultures of my classroom are included in my library, in our library, and not just of the languages and cultures in our classroom, but in the school community and in the community around us. I really want to widen the children's horizons and give them that appreciation for diversity. The organization of the library, obviously, a place where things are organized, we can find what we're looking for. It's something a preschooler can keep organized with as I guide them through that process. And I just really like some of these ideas of making the library a dramatic play area where the students are involved in some of the responsibilities. Maybe a coffee shop connected to our library where children can bring a book and sit around a table and share about that book, where someone can serve them a snack, so that our oral development is also happening in the library in an appropriate way, teaching them appropriate voice levels, volume levels. All right. So not only the classroom library being somewhat of a dramatic play area, but just the philosophy of the classroom is a dramatic play area. I don't consider dramatic play just a center or two, but I want to see dramatic play happening throughout the classroom. And that's why I started out this page with this quote: "Play is an ideal setting which allows the young child to practice, elaborate, and extend emergent literacy abilities." So talk about providing for imaginative writing, providing them with meaningful print that they can play with, infusing technology into their dramatic play, and a concept I was a little bit nervous about but now understand much better is the idea of allowing their favorite pop culture cartoon characters, whoever they're into right now, to be a part of the classroom. And of course, that is with caution, but I have really learned a lot about how they will be engaged in more elaborate play, and that elaborate play will result in more elaborate oral language development and their ideas of stories. And so I can now understand that it is an important part of their dramatic play experience. And once again, just one of the key parts of my vision is that dramatic play is not just a center. It's something that's happening all the time in our classroom, that we are, as we are playing, as we are imagining, we are inventing worlds that maybe we've read about in our stories or seen at home on TV, and these become a part of our day. And then next, print on display throughout the classroom, and that print is functional and that it's meaningful. And another key concept that I've developed is that I really think it's important that our print and decoration displayed around our classroom is co-created and co-determined with the class. These picture perfect Pinterest classrooms, as awesome as they are, and as much as I think they're cool and I love them, I want my classroom to be decorated and the print around the classroom to be meaningful to my students. I want them to be involved in those decisions. And so I am going to try to control my desire to make the room look the way I want it to look and really involve them in that process. The importance of labeling, a schedule that they can interact with, use some of those writing skills or technology skills as they interact with the schedule. Co-created and interactive alphabet displays and areas. And one of the key thoughts in this is that as those areas are developed, that I'm really following where the students are and what the students are interested in. And then finally, that our classroom is representative of the languages in our classroom and the cultures in our classroom and in our community and beyond, in as much as that is appropriate for our students and their families. And just getting back to taking full circle around to the importance of the teacher in her planning and her guiding of the classroom, I think one important item that I want to have posted in my classroom are the learning standards, not just the literacy learning standards, but all of those milestones that we're working towards, so that I can have those ever before me, so that every interaction that I have with my students is moving towards that. And I reference those items and the students become aware that we're developing and we're moving in a direction together. And I think one of the key ways that all of this kind of comes together is through a lot of themes and project-based learning. It kind of ties all of this in together. And so I want to know my students, and I want to know what themes and projects we can do together that are really going to have them engaged and excited about learning. Because if they are engaged and excited about learning, they will enjoy the process and see the purpose and the meaningfulness of literacy. Thank you for joining my tour. Bye.